Your talent is not your ceiling. Your effort is. Most people get this backward. They think success comes from being naturally gifted. They think you either have it or you don't. That belief is killing your potential. The truth is simple. Growth beats talent every single time. What you believe about yourself shapes everything you become. And today, you'll learn how to rewire those beliefs, how to turn obstacles into opportunities, how to build a mindset that never stops growing. Chapter 1. Stop trusting your natural abilities to carry you. You've been lied to your whole life. You were told that talent matters most, that smart people succeed, that gifted people win, and if you have it, you'll make it. If you don't, you won't. That story sounds logical, but it's completely wrong. Think about everyone you know who had potential. The smart kid who peaked early, the talented athlete who quit, the gifted musician who never practiced. Where are they now? Most of them are stuck, not because they lacked talent, but because they trusted it too much. Here's what happens when you rely on natural ability. You stop trying when things get hard, because hard means you're not gifted at it. And if you're not gifted, why bother? So you quit. You move to something easier, something that comes naturally, and you never grow. You see it everywhere. The student who breezes through elementary school, then hits a wall in high school. They never learned to struggle. They never built the muscle of persistence. So when effort is required, they fold. The world rewards you for being smart early. Teachers praise you. Parents brag about you. You get labeled as gifted, and that label becomes a trap, because now your identity is tied to being naturally good. And anything that threatens that identity must be avoided. So you stop taking risks, you stop trying new things, you stick to what you know. Because failure would prove you're not as smart as everyone thinks, and that terrifies you. Most people live their entire lives this way. They protect their image of being talented. They avoid challenges that might expose their limits, and they wonder why they never reach their potential. When was the last time you tried something you knew you'd be bad at? When did you last push into discomfort on purpose? The people who actually succeed don't rely on talent. They rely on effort. They know that skills are built, not born. They embrace the grind. They fail forward. They see challenges as chances to grow, not threats to their ego. That's the difference. Talented people protect what they have. Growing people build what they want. You've spent years thinking your abilities were fixed, that you're either good at something or you're not. But science proves otherwise. Your brain can change. Your skills can expand. Your limits are not set. Starting today, stop worrying about looking smart. Start focusing on getting better, because talent gets you noticed, but growth gets you everywhere. Chapter 2. Train your brain to see failure as feedback. Failure doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you're not good enough yet. That one word changes everything. Most people see failure as final, as proof they can't do something, as evidence they should quit. So they do. They try once, fail once, and decide it's not for them. That's not how mastery works. Every expert you admire failed more than you've even tried. They just didn't stop when it hurt. Think about learning to walk. You fell hundreds of times. Did you decide you weren't a walking person? Did you give up and crawl forever? No, because you didn't see falling as failure. You saw it as part of the process. Somewhere along the way, you lost that mindset. You started seeing mistakes as embarrassing, as something to hide, as proof you're not cut out for it. And that belief cost you everything. Here's the truth. Your brain learns through mistakes, not through getting it right the first time. When you fail, your brain fires up. It analyzes what went wrong. It builds new pathways. It gets stronger. That's not failure. That's growth happening in real time. But only if you let it. Only if you don't shut down the moment things don't work. Only if you ask, what can I learn, instead of, why can't I do this? Most people run from feedback. They avoid criticism. They make excuses when things go wrong. And they stay exactly where they are, forever. The difference between stuck and successful is simple. Successful people treat failure like data. They don't take it personally. They study it. They adjust. They try again. How many times have you given up after one attempt? How many opportunities did you walk away from because it was harder than you expected? I'll tell you what, nobody else will. It's supposed to be hard. If it was easy, everyone would do it. The difficulty is what makes it valuable. The struggle is what builds you. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every mistake is a lesson. Every failure is feedback showing you exactly what to fix next. The next time something doesn't work, don't ask if you're good enough. Ask what you need to learn. Ask what you can do differently. Ask how you can improve, because failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the path to it. And the faster you fail, the faster you learn. The faster you learn, the faster you learn. The faster you learn, the faster you win. Starting today, reframe every mistake, not as proof you can't, but as proof you're trying. And trying is the only way you'll ever get there. Chapter 3. Choose effort over excuses. Every single time, effort is everything. Not talent, not luck, not timing. Effort. The work you put in when nobody's watching. That's what builds you. Most people don't want to hear this. They want a shortcut, a hack, a secret, something that makes success easier. But there is no easier. There's only effort or excuses. And you've been choosing excuses. Maybe not out loud, but in your head. Every time you said you didn't have time. Every time you said you'd start Monday. Every time you convinced yourself conditions weren't right yet. Those are excuses, and they're keeping you stuck. Think about the last goal you set. Did you go all in, or did you dabble? Did you commit fully, or did you keep one foot out in case it didn't work? Half effort gets half results. Actually, it gets less than that, because half effort doesn't build momentum. It doesn't create belief. It just proves to you that you can't do it, and that makes the next attempt even harder. The people who win go all in. They don't test the waters, they dive in. They don't wait for motivation, they show up anyway. They don't need perfect conditions, they work with what they have. Effort beats talent when talent doesn't work, and most talent doesn't work, because talented people coast. They rely on what comes easy. And when easy runs out, they're done. But effort compounds. Every rep counts. Every hour adds up. Every day you show up, build something you can't see yet. But it's there, growing, strengthening, preparing you for the breakthrough. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. They put in weeks of effort, see no results, and assume it's not working. So they stop, and they never know how close they were. What are you still making excuses about? What have you been putting off because you're waiting to feel ready? You'll never feel ready. Readiness is a myth. You get ready by doing, by starting before you're prepared, by figuring it out as you go. The hardest part is starting, not because it's complicated, but because it forces you to face yourself, to admit you've been delaying, to own your lack of progress. But that admission is power, because once you stop lying to yourself, you can finally start building. Here's what changes when you choose effort. Suddenly, results don't scare you, because you know you can outwork anyone. Talent doesn't intimidate you, because you know effort beats talent. Setbacks don't stop you, because you know effort always wins eventually. The next time you feel like making an excuse, pause, recognize it for what it is, a way to protect your ego, a way to avoid discomfort, a way to stay small. Then choose differently. Choose effort, choose action, choose growth. Starting today, no more excuses, only effort. Because effort is the only thing you fully control, and controlling your effort means controlling your future. Chapter 4. Embrace every challenge that scares you. Comfort is your enemy. It feels safe. It feels smart, but it's slowly killing your potential. Every time you avoid something hard, you get weaker. Every time you choose easy, you shrink. Not physically, but mentally, emotionally. You lose the ability to handle difficulty, and life is full of difficulty. Most people spend their lives avoiding challenges. They stick to what they know. They play small. They protect themselves from failure, and they call it being realistic. But that's not realistic. That's fear dressed up as wisdom. Think about every major growth moment in your life. Did it happen when things were easy, or when you were pushed beyond what you thought possible? The hard times built you. The comfortable times didn't. Yet you keep choosing comfort. You keep avoiding anything that might expose your limits, and then you wonder why you're not growing. Here's what you don't realize. Challenges are gifts. They reveal what you're capable of. They force you to adapt. They make you better. But only if you face them. When you avoid challenges, you rob yourself. You rob yourself of growth, of confidence, of the person you could become, and you do it in the name of self-protection. But you're not protecting yourself. You're limiting yourself. The people who achieve the most are not the ones who faced the least resistance. They're the ones who ran toward it. They sought out hard things. They chose challenges on purpose, because they understood something most people miss. Growth only happens outside your comfort zone. Not sometimes, always. If you're comfortable, you're coasting. And coasting is just slow decline. How long have you been playing it safe? How many opportunities have you passed on because they felt too risky? I'll tell you what you already know. Safe doesn't get you where you want to go. Safe keeps you exactly where you are, and where you are right now is the result of all your safe choices. If you want different results, you need different choices. Harder choices, scarier choices, choices that make you uncomfortable. The next time you feel intimidated by something, that's your sign. That's exactly what you should do. Not despite the fear, because of it. Fear means it matters. Fear means it's big enough to change you. Most people run from fear. They let it make decisions for them. They let it keep them small. But fear is just a feeling. It's not a fact. It's not a prediction. It's not a reason to stop. It's a reason to start. Starting today, seek out challenges. Don't wait for them to find you. Go looking. Find something that scares you a little. Something you're not sure you can do. Then do it anyway, because on the other side of that challenge is a stronger version of you, a more capable you, a you that doesn't run from hard things, and that version is worth every bit of discomfort. Chapter 5. Stop comparing yourself to people ahead of you. Comparison will destroy you. Not because others are better, but because you're using the wrong measuring stick. You look at someone 10 years into their journey, and you compare it to your first month. Then you feel like a failure, like you're behind, like you'll never catch up. So you quit before you even start. This happens every single day. You see someone's highlight reel, their success, their results, and you assume it came easy for them, that they're just naturally better, that you could never do that. But you're missing the whole story. You're missing the years of failure, the countless attempts, the setbacks they pushed through, the times they almost quit. You only see the end result, and it crushes your motivation. Here's what you need to understand. Everyone starts at zero. Everyone struggles at first. Everyone doubts themselves. The people you admire are not special. They're just further along the path you're on. They're not better than you. They're just ahead of you. And the only reason they're ahead is because they started sooner, and they didn't quit. That's it. That's the whole secret. Start. Don't quit. Keep going. Eventually you'll be where they are, and someone will be comparing themselves to you. But most people never get there, because they compare instead of compete. They measure themselves against others instead of their past self, and that comparison steals their progress. The only comparison that matters is you versus you. Are you better than you were yesterday? Last week? Last month? That's it. That's the only measurement that means anything. When was the last time you felt genuinely proud of your progress? Or are you too busy looking at what others have achieved? I'll tell you the truth. Your journey is yours alone. Your timeline is different. Your challenges are different. Your starting point is different. So comparing makes no sense. The person ahead of you had advantages you didn't, or disadvantages you didn't, or different circumstances entirely. Their path is not your path. Their success doesn't diminish yours. Their speed doesn't mean you're slow. It just means you're different. And different is exactly what you should be. The next time you catch yourself comparing, stop. Redirect. Ask yourself what you learned today, what you tried today, what you built today. Those are the questions that matter, because success is not about beating someone else. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. And that's a race with no finish line, a race where the only competitor is the person you were yesterday. Every day you show up, you win that race. Every day you improve, you win. Every day you choose growth over comparison, you win. Starting today, stop looking sideways. Look forward. Focus on your own lane, your own pace, your own progress, because that's the only thing you can control. And controlling that is how you win. Chapter 6. Demand more from yourself than anyone else does. Nobody will push you harder than you push yourself. Nobody will demand more from you than you demand. Nobody will believe in your potential more than you do. And right now, you're not demanding enough. You've set low standards. Safe goals, comfortable targets, things you know you can hit without too much effort. And you've convinced yourself that's being realistic. But it's not realistic. It's settling. Think about what you're actually capable of, not what you've done. What you could do if you went all in. If you stopped holding back. If you gave everything you have to one thing for 1 year. Where would you be? You already know the answer. You'd be miles ahead of where you are now. But you're not there. Because you're not demanding it from yourself. Most people live below their potential. Not because they lack ability, but because they lack standards. They accept mediocre effort, mediocre results, mediocre lives, and they call it good enough. But you know it's not good enough. You feel it every time you settle, every time you quit early, every time you choose comfort over growth. That feeling, that's your potential screaming at you to do more. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not extraordinary people. They're ordinary people with extraordinary standards. They don't accept less from themselves. They don't make excuses. They don't lower the bar when it gets hard. They raise it. Here's what happens when you demand more from yourself. You become more. You don't just accomplish more. You transform. You build discipline you didn't have. Resilience you didn't know existed. Confidence that can't be shaken. But you have to demand it first. You have to set standards that scare you. Goals that feel impossible. Expectations that make you uncomfortable. What standards have you been accepting that you know are too low? What are you capable of that you're not even attempting? I'll tell you what nobody else will. You can handle way more than you think. Your capacity is bigger than you know, but you'll never discover it by playing small. The only way to find your limits is to push past what feels possible, to demand more when you're already tired, to keep going when you've given what you thought was everything. Most people stop at 40%. They think they're at 100%, but they're not. They've just hit the first wall, the first layer of discomfort, and they assume that's the limit. But it's not the limit. It's just the beginning of where real growth starts. The next time you feel maxed out, push a little more, do one more rep, one more hour, one more day. Not because you have to, but because you can. And proving to yourself that you can changes everything. Starting today, raise your standards. Don't ask for permission. Don't wait for someone to tell you that you're capable. You already are. Now demand it from yourself. Because the version of you that demands excellence will always beat the version that settles. And that version is waiting, ready to show up the moment you stop accepting less. Chapter 7. Build a mindset that never stops growing. Growth is not a destination. It's a direction. And you get to choose which way you're headed every single day. Most people think growth happens in bursts. Big moments. Breakthrough days. And then they coast until the next one. But that's not how it works. Growth happens in the small choices, the boring consistency, the unsexy daily habits that nobody sees. It's showing up when you don't feel like it, trying when you're tired, learning when you'd rather rest. That's where the real transformation happens. Not in the highlight moments, in the ordinary ones, in the decision to keep going when quitting makes more sense. Think about the habits you've built, not the ones you wish you had, the actual ones. Are they moving you forward or holding you in place? Most people have routines that keep them stuck. They do the same things every day, then wonder why nothing changes. But nothing changes because they don't change. Your life will only improve when your habits improve. Your results will only shift when your actions shift. And your actions will only shift when your mindset shifts. That's where it all starts. With what you believe about yourself, about your potential, about what's possible for you. If you believe you're fixed, you won't try new things. You'll protect what you have. You'll avoid risk. And you'll stay exactly where you are. But if you believe you can grow, everything opens up. Challenges become opportunities. Feedback becomes fuel, failure becomes a teacher, and your limits become starting points, not endpoints. This belief is not something you're born with. It's something you build. Every time you choose effort over ease, every time you embrace a challenge, every time you learn from a mistake, you're building it, and once it's built, it changes everything. Because you stop asking if you can do something. You start asking how you'll figure it out. You stop worrying about failing. You start focusing on learning. How many times have you told yourself you can't do something? How many doors have you closed before even trying to open them? I'll tell you something you need to hear. You're capable of far more than you believe. Not because you're special, but because you're human. And humans are built to adapt, to learn, to grow, to overcome. But you have to activate that potential. You have to choose growth. Every day, in every decision, in every moment where comfort calls and growth demands more. The people who keep growing never stop learning. They read, they ask questions, they seek feedback. They try new things, they fail forward. They never assume they've arrived, because they know there is no arrival. There's only progress, and progress is available every single day, if you choose it. The next time you feel stuck, remember this. You're not stuck. You're just not growing. And you're not growing because you're not choosing to. Change the choice. Change the outcome. Starting today, commit to growth. Not just when it's convenient, not just when you feel motivated. Every single day, make one choice that builds you. One action that moves you forward. One habit that makes you better. Because a mindset that never stops growing is a life that never stops improving. And that life is yours to build. Right now, starting today, your mindset shapes everything. Your effort, your resilience, your results. You're not limited by talent. You're only limited by what you believe is possible, and what you believe is a choice. So choose growth, choose effort, choose to become unstoppable.